Hi, my name is Josephine Moreno, and I'm the Graduate Diversity Director in the Arts and Humanities Division at UC Berkeley. And today I'm going to talk about writing a winning statement of purpose. The statement of purpose is an essay that's required of all students who apply to graduate school at UC Berkeley and most probably at all other schools that one applies to for graduate school. At UC Berkeley, it's one of two essays that are written by the applicants, and that is all applicants in all majors. So it's a very significant component of an individual applicant's full profile and the information that's provided by each applicant. So today we're going to talk about the statement of purpose and writing one that is as positive and as thorough and in-depth as one needs in order to be considered for graduate admission. So the statement of purpose. It is one of two essays I mentioned. The other essay is the personal history statement. But the statement of purpose here at UC Berkeley is really a focus on one's academic biography. And in doing so, then one provides information about their preparation, the direction that they'd like to pursue in different disciplines, as well as why they believe that they would be a good fit for a particular program. So that's what we're going to talk about. You're writing about a highlight of your preparation for graduate school. It shouldn't encompass all of the information that one has provided in the application, but it's an applicant's opportunity to actually point a direction or a light on why they are such a great candidate for that particular graduate school. So the statement of purpose is very valuable and a key component in all of the materials that are submitted as a part of an applicant's package. So let's talk about it. It is always an example of one's best writing. It is an essay that cannot be written in one go. You must take your time and prepare to write the statement of purpose and perhaps go through 2, 3, 4, 5 or more drafts. I also suggest that one involves perhaps 2 or 3, not more than 3, persons to review their drafts as they're writing them. So consequently, it does require a significant amount of time and effort. This essay is telling the faculty committee about your preparation and your desire to be admitted to a particular graduate program. And consequently, it's going to be submitted to many colleges and universities, but it should also be unique and written, personalized for each one of those programs. As I mentioned before, it's a highlight, and it is a great challenge to do that very positively as well as concise and thorough. So let's talk about the writing preparation. You're going to focus on your academic career up to the point of the application, one's intellectual pursuits, and one's academic and or professional goals. That should all be included in the statement of purpose. And when one is preparing to write the statement of purpose, you must think about all of the materials, all of the information that might be included in that process. So I suggest that you gather all that information together, and that might include transcripts from the one school or the many schools that one has attended. It might include papers, significant papers that one has written. It could include standardized exam scores that are required, publications that one has submitted to a journal or to a book, for example, a resume or a curriculum vitae, different honors or awards someone has received. So all of that information can be drawn upon in order to write the statement of purpose. For each student also, they should consider all of the enriching activities that they have been involved in. And that differs by individual, but it also differs by the discipline that one is pursuing. So in order to take note of all of those types of activities, you might think about Have I been involved in summer research? What was my summer research project and the outcome of the paper that had been written? Did I do a master's thesis or a senior thesis as an undergrad? Have I been involved in lab experiences? Have I performed or been involved in field work? So these are examples, but certainly not limited to many of the activities that students may be involved in as an undergraduate or as a master's student applying to graduate school. So you've gathered the information, you're ready to begin writing, but actually you're not quite ready yet. And that is that you want to think about how you're going to approach this particular essay. And keep in mind that it should be an example of your very best writing. It should not contain grammatical errors or spelling errors. And I suggest, as does my colleagues, that it's written in an active voice rather than a passive voice. Also, you want to demonstrate that you're competent, that you have the intellectual abilities to hit the ground running, I hear quite often, in that particular graduate program. So these are all ideas that should come through in this essay, the statement of purpose. Finally, I strongly recommend that one reads the instructions and they follow them. And that's because many times there are instructions not only generally for the writing of this essay, but also specific instructions that might come from the department. And consequently, those all need to be incorporated and be followed as one is thinking about and writing this particular essay. So we're getting to the point where one is going to write, and what I like to do is actually go through the process with you to think about and to envision all of the parts that this statement of purpose should encompass. And I'd like to do that with one set of instructions, and they are the instructions for Berkeley's statement of purpose. So let's take a look at that, and you'll see that on the screen, that slide. And these are the instructions for Berkeley's statement of purpose in the current year. So it says, please describe your aptitude and motivation for graduate study in your area of specialization, include your preparation for the field, your academic plans, your area of study, and your future career goals. And finally, the instructions ask for the applicant to be specific about why UC Berkeley would be a good intellectual fit. Okay, so here are the instructions, and you think, oh my gosh, how do I start it? What do I do? And I'm going to take you through the process of deconstructing the instructions so that you can get a sense of what should be included in this essay. So the second slide is deconstructing instructions number 1, and that is going back to the first part of the instructions for the statement of purpose. So they include to describe your aptitude and motivation for graduate study. Well, what is aptitude? It is ability, it's talent, skills, competence. So your aptitude and motivation, that is what's driving you to pursue this graduate degree in this particular discipline. What is your inspiration? So that's what motivation is. And the second part is for graduate study in your area of specialization. That is your subfield as well as the discipline. The instructions also address your preparation for graduate school. So they include the request to include your preparation. Well, what encompasses preparation? It may be coursework. It may be research, it could be degrees, because many graduate students do come in with a master's degree, maybe a second PhD, and certainly a bachelor's degree. It may involve language skills, laboratory experience, or work experience in a particular field. So all of this comes together in terms of preparing an applicant for a graduate program. And that's what one should convey in the statement of purpose. So the inspiration, the academic motivation, and the preparation. That's what I'm going to talk about next. You want to highlight coursework and internships, research experiences, fieldwork, as I mentioned before, but there's also advanced study, maybe study abroad. So don't leave out those kinds of experiences. Also, I strongly recommend that a student elaborate on independent study. And that's because many students do incorporate or do independent study with a faculty member or within a group. However, that information of what was accomplished, what was the goal of that particular independent study, and what was the outcome. So that's an opportunity for each applicant to provide more detail in this statement of purpose. Motivation, I mentioned before, I think that that is kind of woven into all of the text in this particular essay. The motivation to pursue a bachelor's degree, what motivated an applicant to do so, or what motivates them to continue for a graduate degree. So motivation comes through within the essay itself. In this particular part of the instructions for the Statement of Purpose at UC Berkeley, it indicates to provide your academic plans or your research interests in your chosen area of study and your future career goals. So what does all that mean? And sometimes it's overwhelming to read these instructions. And so that's why, again, I suggest that you deconstruct it in this way. So this part is asking each applicant about their research interests. What are your research interests in the field? What are your research interests in one subfield? So what are you passionate about in mechanical engineering, in physics? And how did that passion come to be? That's what you want to address in this particular part. So how you arrived at your field, you can discuss why you're passionate for anthropology, sociology, public health, education, and how have you prepared yourself for that particular discipline and subfield. So for example, you might have been involved in research projects, you might have had an aha moment, or you might have actually had experience within a lab group. So all of these are opportunities to highlight within this essay. You also want to consider discussing your goals in achieving the PhD. How do you plan to use it in the future? Do you want to go into academia? Would you like to pursue a job in the industry that discipline represents? So think about that in terms of how you would go about discussing your career objectives. Finally, in terms of research interests and goals in your field, I always recommend that one gets a sense of what is desired by that graduate program. Each field has their own way of writing that's acceptable, and what you want to do is get a sense of what is desirable or what is expected in this essay for your field. So for example, going back to rhetoric, I would say that students really need a fairly well-developed idea about a topic or topics that they would like to pursue in graduate school or the doctoral program. And that's because the faculty are thinking about who that person would be teamed with. Is that project a kind of a cutting edge project, or has it been done before? So in having a discussion with the department, one gets a sense of what the expectation is in the statement of purpose. This particular part is about highlighting why the applicant is a very, very good fit for this graduate program. So the instructions are, please be specific about why UC Berkeley would be a good intellectual fit for you. Okay, so where do you go? What is fit? Fit has to do with the interest of the applicant and the direction of the graduate program. And So a few ways one can determine fit is, do they have courses that really interest me and that parallel my research interest? Who are the faculty that are working in the field that I'm interested in? What might be the resources that I would need to draw upon this particular research idea or topics? Would I need special collections? Are those resources here and available for me to use, whether it's at the library or some other resource? So one must think about the fit from a variety of different ways and describe it, talk about it. So many ways that fit is determined or discussed is whether that applicant can discuss how their research interests align with the research interests of the faculty. And that's probably the most important component. That is, the student is looking for a good match between their interest and the graduate program, but keep in mind that the school and the graduate program is looking for a match as well. And so that match is evident first by this essay and then with all the materials that are submitted by the applicant. So special collections, please though, do not say you want to come to Berkeley because of the weather. That completely nullifies everything. So it does happen, but it's not going to happen to you because I've just given you that advice. So going back to these particular points, really the statement of purpose for UC Berkeley covers 3 points. Your preparation for the field, your ability to hit the ground running. I often hear that term, can that student hit the ground running? A preparation that includes courses, it includes all of the other aspects of preparing for the field, whether it's mechanical engineering or it is public policy. The second component that should be covered that I mentioned was research interests, direction, field, and subfield. So that's item number 2. Then item number 3 is the fit with the program. How well that graduate student fits in with the direction of the program and the faculty. So keep in mind there's 3 points to cover, at least in the statement of purpose for UC Berkeley. And that's another point that I might make. Each school has their own instructions. In general, they'll ask similar types of questions, but one must personalize the statement of purpose for each school that one applies to. So certainly the statement of purpose for Berkeley is an academic biography, but most of the personal information about coming to education, challenges that one must have faced, that actually belongs in the personal history statement. But the statement of purpose really concentrates and focuses on one's preparation for that discipline. In summary, this statement of purpose should be extremely well written. And that's why you do drafts and you have a number of people review this statement, this essay. It should also be concise, and it should indicate your academic preparation as well as your intellectual capabilities in the field. Another point that I'd like to make is that it shouldn't be too dense. And that is that there's so many ideas packed into really what is a very short essay, that sometimes it can be extremely overwhelming for the faculty who are reading this essay. So please do not make your essay too tight, too dense. Also, it should have distinguishing parts. That is, it should stand alone as an essay and not be duplicated, for example, from another statement of purpose. It should really be particular and written for each school. It should have an introduction covering the 3 points that I mentioned and a summary of some kind. So it's just like a mini paper. Finally, the statement of purpose should be really an insight into your intellectual potential, your ability to pursue that graduate program, whether it's a master's degree or a doctoral degree. And all of that should come through in the essay itself. I hope that this has been very helpful and that you will refer to the slides that I've mentioned. Also, I would add that there's two very helpful, very valuable guides for writing the statement of purpose and the personal history statement, and we'll give you that URL as well. So good luck on your statement of purpose, and please do follow the instructions and write a positive and upbeat essay. Thank you.